Hello everyone and welcome along to our tutorial for this week, which we're featuring the song Tickle My Heart, written by Joe Brown and Roger Cook. You may remember Roger Cook as a songwriter with Roger Greenaway and a performer with Blue Mink and one or two other bands back in the late 60s, early 70s. The story is apparently that Joe Brown went to visit Roger Cook in wherever he lives, in Los Angeles or San Francisco, somewhere on the west coast of the USA. And while they were there, Roger Cook, who still has his broad Bristolian accent, said, "Here, Joe, how'd you fancy helping me out with this song?" And so they got their heads together and in the course of an afternoon completed the song that had only been an idea in Roger Cook's mind up until then. And this is the finished article. It's not really, it's not an earth-shattering song, but it's a pretty little song, isn't it? Pam loves it.
Yep.
Which is, of course,
why we're doing
it. Yeah, you know. Anyway, it's pitched in the key of C, and that's where Joe Brown does it as well. The version that we've got here is pretty much a transcription of Joe Brown's recording of this song on his CD, on his album of ukulele songs. And as I say, it's a pretty little song and it's fun to play. It's a fun song to sing. And if you're interested in chord melody, there's a few little bits and pieces that we can look at in here. So if you're not familiar with the song, strongly suggest you go onto YouTube and look at Joe Brown's version from his CD. We have the CD, obviously, but anyway, it's well worth looking at. But if you don't know it, the shape of it is like this. So we just do a verse, an intro and verse.
Okay.
It's a very simple introduction, just on C and A minor, like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's a gentle sort of swing. And for that introduction, C and A minor, I don't bother to lift my ring finger off the A string on that C chord. So, and I use my index finger on the G string to frame the A minor. But that C is still a valid, it's part of the A minor chord, so. You've already heard me say that a chord that we play consists of the root chord, whether it's major or minor, consists of 3 notes: the root note, the third note, and the fifth note. So in C, it's C, E, and G, which you've got there: C, E, and G. But there's always going to be a duplication. So on that C chord, you actually play 2 Cs. You play that C and that C. Whereas if we play an A minor chord, what we get there is an A minor, C, or A, C, E. Those are the 3 notes of an A minor primary triad. So normally when you play the A minor like that, just with your thing, you get a duplication of the A note on the G and A strings. Whereas if you have your little finger down on that C, you're getting a duplication of the C, but you're still getting A, C, E. So leaving your ring finger on the C note is a perfectly valid way of playing A minor, and it just makes it a nice gentle swing for the introduction, because only one note changes, the G and the A, and everything else stays the same. Like that. Oh, by the way, I'm using my high G tenor for this session because I know most of you play a high G, and this song doesn't really have any need of a low G. If you've got a low G, it works just as well, but we're using the high G for this one. Okay, so that's the introduction. And the verse, the melody of the verse is down, D. Now you can see I don't have to do very much with that because it starts on an open C string. Oh, a tickle, tickle. So we're going from the C note to a D note. Tickle my, and then the open E string. So all we need to do, tickle my, or tickle me. Tickle me, tickle me. And then the last note in that little phrase is the G note, which is the 3rd fret on the E string. Now you can do all that while you're holding down a C chord, can't you? As in, there's your C chord. Bum, 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 bum. So I just used my index finger to fret the C string at the 2nd. And I'm plucking it with my thumb. Except that I've got into such a habit of using my thumb for strings 3 and 4 and my index finger for string 2 and my middle finger for string 1 that I kind of do that automatically without thinking about it. And I think for once in my life I've developed quite a good habit rather than all the other bad ones. But that works. So we're into chord melody, aren't we? They're definitely tickle my tummy, tickle me once. And then we go to, the melody goes tickle, tickle, tickle me twice. So it's a repeat of that first bit, tickle me. You go the first time, you go once, tickle me twice, which is the open A string, which you're playing on an A minor. So we can play the chords, da da dum, dee 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 doo, dee 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 dee. So we can play that, can't we? There we are. And that is the essence of chord melody, playing the tune in the chords. And so we can do exactly the same because the second half of the first line does exactly the same thing. Tickle me naughty, tickle me nice. So there you go. We can do that, can't we?
Yep, you do that and I should put the chords underneath.
So playing in a group, you can have one person doing that, another person doing the chords, just the plain chords underneath. So we go like this. One, and won't worry about the introduction this time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Tickle me once, tickle me twice, tickle me naughty, tickle me nice. So there we are. We've got the melody and the chords. The two chords being C and A minor. The way I've shown it on the song sheet is it starts on the A minor, but that's the sort of a hangover A minor from the introduction because the vocal starts not on the first beat of the bar, the anacrusis that we've heard about before. So the tickle is actually on the 3rd beat of the bar. So that's the hangover A minor from the introduction. Okay, now the melody for the 3rd line, or the second half of the first verse, the melody goes exactly the same as the first half, but the harmonies in the accompanying chords are slightly different. So instead of going from a C, tickle me once, tickle me twice, where it goes from C to A minor, the second time round it goes tickle my fancy. That's fine, that's still a C, but then it goes tickle my toes, which is the C diminished seventh. Now, here's a little trick. You can pick up the A note that you need for the melody on the G string down there, the fourth string, but this works if you only play 3/4 of the diminished seventh C chord. So you just lift your little finger off. So what you're actually playing in essence is a G shape, a G chord shape moved across one string. So instead of on strings 1, 2, 3, it's on 2, 3, 4. But there you've got that A note in the melody ringing out on the first string. So we get bum ba bum bum. Then the melody does da da da. So you can take everything off for that. And then we're going back to a C. A, D, D. We need an A note, whereas the first time round we had an A minor. Now we've gone to an A seventh, just to say vary the harmonies the second time round. And then the fourth line is exactly the same. A D minor, tickle my heart, come on and tickle my heart, which is the same as the second line, which is a D minor, tickle my, but you can achieve that. You're going from an A minor first time, A7, tickle my, so we're open A string, G note, third fret of the second string, and then the second string open to a D minor, so you've got that D note there on the third string, the C string. Now, where you've got the accompanying instrument playing a G7, if you're doing chord melody here, suggest you play the G. So you've got the G note there, which is nice and convenient. So if we put that all together for the first verse, if you play the chords, Pam, and I'll have a go at the chord melody. So with the intro, 1, 2, 3, 4. Tickle me once, tickle me twice, tickle me naughty, tickle me nice, but tickle my heart. Come on and tickle my heart. Tickle my fancy, tickle my toes, tickle my tummy, right up to my nose, but tickle my heart. Just tickle my heart. There we are, that's the first verse. Just those single beats on that little turnaround at the end of the verse. It's C, F, D, C. Good chord changing exercise on one beat at a time. And that's all the verse is. Then we come to the bridge passage, the middle eight, where the chord for the accompaniment is an E7. Now the melody does something a little bit different. It does tickle me in the morning. Now, an E7th, open E7th in the first position chord is only one note different from a B diminished chord. So the E7 is 2, 1, 1, 2, 0, 2. 1, 2, 0, 2. Whereas the B diminished chord is 1, 2, 1, 2. And that little F note on the second string there is the one you want for the melody. So you play your E7th using those three fingers, index finger, ring finger and little finger. index finger, ring finger and little finger, instead of where you'd normally use 1, 2, 3 for an E7. Just change it slightly, because you've got your middle finger free to hold down that F note, which makes a B diminished chord. So we're going tickle me in the. You see that? You're just putting your middle finger down and then lifting it up again. So tickle me in the. And then we need a C note on the 3rd fret of the A string, the top string. But you're doing it within the E minor, the E7th chord. So you just slide your little finger up 1 fret and then back down again. So put that all together, it works as. Okay, and again I'd use my basic picking pattern is those 2 fingers, index and middle finger. Thumb looks after the 3rd and 4th strings, so it does that. And the index finger 2nd string, middle finger 3rd string. So. And then we go to an A minor. And then all you need to do that to get the melody is tickle me, and then you go back to an E7 through, which is there already, and the E note is there already, open 2nd string, through the night. So within that line we've got an E7th modified slightly to make it into a B diminished. And there's the melody in those 2 chords, basically an E7th and an A minor chord. The second half of the bridge is easy enough. It's just that open D7 works very well here, the 2-0-2-0, Hawaiian D7. Tickle me in the morning.
Without warning.
Oh, without warning, yeah. So if you want the melody in there, the B note, tickle me, you've got your little finger free to fret the 2nd fret of the 1st string. Without warning. And then again a G7, or if you're playing chord melody, play the G. And then where it goes to the word B, that'll be all right. Your accompaniment can be playing the open D7. But if you want to find that top D note, because the melody is going, that'll be alright. So we can do that with, that'll be alright. So we play the closed D major chord, so 2-2-2-5, and that gives you your D note up on the 5th fret of the 1st string. And then just lift that off, and that gives you the B note that you need there, and then to a G or a G7. So we're getting, that'll be alright, tickle me gently, and then we're back to the same as the first couple of lines of the verse. There you go, and that's pretty much all of it. Except then you come to a little instrumental half a break, which is the first line of the verse, and then followed by a vocal, tickle my heart, tickle my heart. There's a little turnaround at the end of the half verse. Instead of just doing the C, A minor, little turnaround is C, A minor, D minor, G7. Then we get into the little instrumental break, and Joe Brown's recording has his son Pete Brown playing a slide guitar, or playing a bottleneck style. So he's sliding up to the notes. He's going something like is sliding from a G down to an E and then up to an A, and then there's and sliding up to a C. But if you've got a slide ukulele, steel strings or a bottleneck, you can do that. Otherwise, just play anything that fits into that chord pattern, C, A minor, the first time round, and then C, C diminished, C, A7 the second time round. So I'm sure you can find some nice instrumental solos to play along there. And then that's just interspersed with the second line of each verse, tickle my heart, come on, tickle my heart. The second time we get to the bridge, we play it slightly different, as does Joe. So instead of just playing on the E7, the record does little stop. 3 strikes on the E7 and then stop. So we get it like this. Go from there. Come on and tickle my heart. Here we go. And then you go back into the swing rhythm. So it's just that first half. It's just go from there again. Right. Tickle my heart. Come on and tickle my heart. Tickle me in the morning. Tickle me through the night back in rhythm. Tickle me without warning. And now the second time round in the bridge, it's slightly different from the first time. So we've got another couple of words in and then a repeated all right. And the timing is a little bit, you need to listen to the timing of it, which goes like this. Tickle me without warning. You know that'll be all right, all right. Ooh, that sounds a bit different, doesn't it? Well, you go to a G augmented chord on the second time of asking for the word all right. So it works out like this. From the tickle, tickle me without warning. You know that'll be all right, all right. And then we're back into the verse for the very end of the song, and there's a little coda which just repeats the phrase tickle my heart a couple of times before the outro is the same as the intro, just on C and A minor. So we get the last verse goes 1, 2, tickle me gently, tickle me rough, I'll let you know when I've had enough, but tickle my heart anytime, just tickle my heart, tickle my heart, please tickle my heart, and then the outro, and finish on a C chord any way you like. You can play that C, or that C, or that C, or that C, or that C. Pick a C chord to finish on. A different one from what everybody else is doing. And there you go. Right, I think that's it, isn't it?
It is.
It's a simple song, but you can do a bit with it. Like a lot of the best simple songs, there's scope for enhancement. And I hope you'll have a go at some of those little embellishments and enhancements, and in particular the chord melody, because it's a nice easy one to get started on. I think that's it, isn't it?
It is, apart from to say that if you've got a C followed by a C diminished seventh, play the C with your little finger if you're playing the chords, because that way your fingers are free to drop in for the next chord. If you're playing a C like that and then you've got to suddenly move everything, it's a nightmare. I know we always said play the C with that finger, but there are times you break the rules.
Words of wisdom. It's all about anticipation, knowing the song well enough to know where your fingers need to go next. So if you see, as Pam says, a C followed by a C diminished seventh, then use your little finger, never pinky, on the C chord, so it's there already.
Yep.
So, words of wisdom.
Thank you.
From a wise woman. Okay, that's it. Well, we'll do a play-along version of this later in the week. We'll have our Friday Foolishness in a few days' time. And the same again next week ad infinitum. So that's it from us for this week, isn't it?
Yeah.
So until we meet again, you know what to do. Stay safe, take care of each other, and be kind to yourselves. So that's all from us. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.